up, you guys? What's going on here? This is your pal Roni K95 here. Today is going to be a movie review, and this is just your typical movie that I'm going to be planning to do a movie review on there as well. And this time, this is going to be on a Scooby-Doo movie that I have been thinking about doing a movie review, and this is going to be a movie that I haven't forgot to do one, which I should have done until now. And this movie is going to be Scooby-Doo and the Witch's Ghost for today's movie review. So, yeah, this is the one of the Scooby-Doo movie. This is obviously a direct-to-video animated movie from these Scooby-Doo movies on there as well, because I just wanted to come by for how particularly I wanted to come by for a movie like this as well. Just it's just basically the way of how, if you all don't know what Scooby-Doo about the movies are, I'm just gonna give you a quick little rundown about it. After the success of the movie Scooby-Doo on Zombie Island, which is the darkest Scooby-Doo movie from the 90s as well, which ironically, Scooby-Doo on Zombie Island is the very first Scooby-Doo movie that came out in the 90s. That's how I wanted to come by for this accordingly as well. And not only that, the movie has been earned on the 50% rating on this website called Rotten Tomatoes. I don't know why would they do that. And to be fair, Scooby-Doo on Zombie Island has gotten to the more popularity the most, just like as how you thought. But then again, just to consider the fault after the previous movie, Scooby-Doo on Zombie Island has got to this as well, which I will cover Scooby-Doo on Zombie Island at this point. So, and not only that, this is the second Scooby-Doo movie that came out in 1999. This is the last final film role from Mary Kay Bergman, who voiced Daphne Blake. Yeah, this is her final film role in her voice acting career until she died on November 11th, 1999. Yeah, this is basically for what their final film role has got to this. So, without any further ado, which is right here, right now, let's dive into the review. This is Scooby-Doo on Zombie Island. No. Scooby-Doo and the Witch's Ghost. Sorry about that. Yeah, well, we'll cover Scooby-Doo on Zombie Island at this point. This is Scooby-Doo and the Witch's Ghost. So, it starts off in Scooby-Doo and the Witch's Ghost is that we start off with these security guards what's going on in this museum after the events of Scooby-Doo on Zombie Island has occurred to them as well, is that they had noticed how these crooks that were in these disguise, they have been revealed by the Scooby gang, and then they get to meet the infamous horror writer named Ben Ravencroft, who is voiced by Tim Curry in this movie. Velma Dinkley is a fan of Ben Ravencroft's novels. When they were solving this case at this museum, he invited Scooby and the gang, along with Velma, to the Oak Haven Autumn Fest, because there's something going on at the whole point of this as well, which is somewhere in Oak Haven, Massachusetts. When they arrived the town's mayor, named Mayor Corey, has been converting it to a tourist attraction based on the ghost of Sarah Ravencroft, who is a Wiccan, and not only that, an ancestor to Ben Ravencroft himself, who was originally persecuted as a witch and has been executed by the Puritan town people back in 1657. You know, this is back in, like, how this happened in the 1600s, as in the more how this has gotten to the whole Salem witch trial thing as well. So the mayor invited Scooby-Doo and Shaggy to the Oak Haven restaurant diner for those meals as well. And because they have been ordering because, you know, Scooby and Shaggy has been ordering something off the menu at the Oak Haven restaurant. Because, you know, the restaurant is owned by the restaurant owner, Jack himself, in this one. As the day goes on, after progressing of how Scooby and Shaggy are at the restaurant, Daphne, Fred, and Velma, with Ben Ravencroft, wanted to know how they realized about the origins about Sarah Ravencroft, because how her journal uses it for healing, because before, in this whole origins. By this time, of course, when Fred, Daphne, and Velma arrived at the restaurant, they had to explain to Shaggy and Scooby that it's getting dark, to see about the witch's ghost is going to make an appearance. When the evening falls, they expected something of how they wanted to, if the ghost would have ever showed up. By this time, of course, as Scooby and Shaggy departed from the restaurant, as nighttime falls, they wanted to know something until... This wasn't long until they were chased by the witch's ghost. As soon as they run into Fred, Daphne, and Velma with Ben Ravencroft, because they wanted to know what's going on about the witch's ghost has been chasing Scooby and Shaggy, which is down the street, because they wanted to know. But this wasn't long until they arrived at the concert rehearsal of the Hex Girls, which they are a gothic rock group led by Thorne herself. During the rehearsals, Fred and Daphne has wanted to expected of what Thorne was up to, something of how they discovering on how when she was performing a ritual, thinking that the Hex Girls are witches and stuff like that. Upon capturing the witch's ghost, Velma has unmasked, because it turns out to be Thorne's father herself, Mr. McKnight, who worked as a pharmacist at Oak Haven, who is also working at the Oak Haven pharmacy, which is part of the whole publicity stunt in the act as well, of how the whole Oak Haven's tourist economy is failing, which things never go as planned as well, for how this has occurred to that as well, which is something never goes on perfectly as they could have expected in that as well. You know, it's just particularly of how they thought the whole attraction was the whole faked ghost thing as well. Upon this as well, at this point, of course, in addition to this, of how Thorne has revealing the ritual that she performed was actually the herbal to soothe her vocal cords, that she is basically could be a Wiccan herself. For this, Scooby found the log from the buckle. It was basically the log from Sarah's journal, which is how they wanted to figure out something for how this goes, until when they return, and for all this, when he found and digged up, it was the journal of Sarah Ravencroft. When the gang has found out that Ben revealed it was a spell book, which he has been calling himself as a warlock, because he realized that Sarah Ravencroft was a witch. Things haven't gone as how the reveals of how the stories of how Sarah Ravencroft, being a witch, which is very true to this, has been trapped in her spellbook by the Wiccans back in the time as well. Furthermore, he basically wanted to engineering the museum mystery to manipulate Mystery Incorporated into helping him, when he never took the account for Oakhaven's publicity stunt, of how the advantage nonetheless as well, when he basically how he used her spell book of the dark powers of how his warlock feel. When Fred realized that, when he told him that Ben Ravencroft was been reading too many of his own horror stories, for the whole response for this as well. At this point, of course, as well. When he uses the magical powers, if he would have ever to nonetheless of how he unleashed his dark magical powers, and however, Scooby and the gang try to put a stop to Ben Ravencroft, but it didn't go, because when they wanted to go back for the book, but then this wasn't long when he caused the whole dark carnage of how he used his warlock-like magical powers that gets away in his path as well. This wasn't long before he releases Sarah from the book, when he could have helped him to rule the world, but instead the ghost of Sarah Ravencroft has to destroy it and retaliate from her imprisonment. Disillusioning has gotten to this. When Ben Ravencroft wanted to re-imprison Sarah back into the book, how only when she revealed that a Wiccan can do though, but then traps him to a magical spear. When the Mystery Incorporated wanted to get the book back, Sarah uses her dark magical powers to make the pumpkins and a tree come to life, and then a turkey among the chaos, when Velma had wanted to tell Thorne to re-imprison Sarah, as how everything succeeds to put a stop to all the terror in this as well. And everything works as it goes, and how it plans as well. And how everything has been restored the turkey was freed from the control, Sarah Ravencroft's ghost has been pulled into the book, taking Ben Ravencroft along into the book as the imprisonment of how this happened to Ben Ravencroft has been imprisoned in the book as well. When a burning tree branch fell on top of the book, it has been burned as well, because it had probably got the way of how the book got burned as well. Afterwards, the Mystery Incorporated wanted to figure out how they can do for the whole Oakhaven Autumn Fest, of how this has been wanted to prevent it from failing. So they wanted to have the turkey, the giant turkey, as part of the whole celebration, and with the Hex Girls concert. And that's how you end this movie, with the Hex Girls performing Earth, Wind, Fire, and Air. So, the story in Scooby-Doo and the Witch's Ghost is a very, very unique, and it's getting very good at this point, because I thought it was very creative, though, and this particularly of how it's gotten very good at this point, though, because I wanted to come by for a movie like this as well. Although we do have a slew of characters, and this is your first Scooby-Doo movie to featuring a female gothic rock group like the Hex Girls in this movie, like Scooby-Doo and the Witch's Ghost, because this has got to my attention for how I wanted to come by on discovering goth rock groups in a movie like this as well. Think about it. I mean, it's more different than any other ones as well, than any movie I have ever saw. But it was a whole thing to remember on this as well. Yet another kind of how I wanted to come by for a movie like Scooby-Doo and the Witch's Ghost. Because it's great to see having a gothic rock group in the movie like this as well, because, you know, this is how it's something very new to me, because, I mean, there's a lot of goth rock groups in movies on there, and how I wanted to come by for this, because this is something new, though, and this is how I wanted to come by for a movie like Scooby-Doo and the Witch's Ghost, because I just wanted to come by for, well, technically, though, as that I've realized that this is how I've wanted to come for the fact for this as well, with as much as how I thinking of this as well. Yeah, because the reason why this movie is very good, because this is not the first Scooby-Doo movie to feature a goth rock group, which is the Hex Girls in this movie. Wow, that is something new, though, as well, because, and up until you'll see the Hex Girls again in Scooby-Doo and the Legend of the Vampire, which is another movie that is later on in the early 2000s as well. The production's very good, and it's gotten a lot of very good, unique for a movie like this as well. And above for all this, I put to the side of this, to the challenge of this, of how I wanted to come by, for how nothing seems very come to this, that I'm discovering something new, though, as well. And yeah, the music, I love the music on there. We all know, because this is very goth rock feel, you know, of how whenever I come by for this as well. Yeah. Because, you know, if you watch Scooby-Doo and the Witch's Ghost, the two songs that the Hex Girls performed, including the song like, for example, Hex Girl and Earth, Wind, Fire, and Air. You know, it's just based... Those are the first couple of the songs from the Hex Girls in the soundtrack for Scooby-Doo and the Witch's Ghost, because this is all new for this as well. And overall, what I think of the movie, I really enjoyed it, because this is by far one of my favorite Scooby-Doo movies, in my opinion, because I remembered watching this movie a while back, like, lots and lots and lots of times, because, to me, this has to be one of my favorite Scooby-Doo movies on there as well, because if you have... I mean, take for example, though, the Hex Girls are like the female goth rock version of The Cure or any other goth rock groups at the time as well, like Joy Division and Suoxy and the Banshees. That's another goth rock group as well. To the whole idea of having a goth rock group in a Scooby-Doo movie, like Scooby-Doo and the Witch's Ghost, because that was very interesting, because this is how I wanted to come by for this as well. To the point out of how I wanted to come by on this as well. And yeah, I just wanted to discovering something new on this as well, because this is how I wanted to discover something for a movie like this as well, because I mean, I remembered watching Scooby-Doo and the Witch's Ghost on VHS a while back, like in the early 2000s. Like, I've seen it on VHS as well, and it was my biggest childhood to remember, and I still remember watching this movie to this day, because I wanted to come by for a movie like this as well. And if you want to watch a movie that you wanted to pick something that you remembered watching in the past days in the early 2000s, if you have it on to binge watch on there, I highly recommend you to check out Scooby-Doo and the Witch's Ghost if you have it on DVD as well, especially because this has considered to be one of my all-time favorites as well. It has it in it. You know, because this is how I wanted to come by for this. And my thoughts for the movie on Scooby-Doo and the Witch's Ghost, well, looking back, I remembered watching the movie on Cartoon Network when it was part of Cartoon Network's Cartoon Theater. To me, though, I remembered it, and this all has gotten to me, though, because this is so true whenever I wanted to come by on how I wanted to watch a movie like Scooby-Doo and the Witch's Ghost, because this is all new for this as well, because I just wanted to come by for how I wanted to come by for a movie like Scooby-Doo and the Witch's Ghost. And this is my second favorite movie. Well, this is my first. This is the most favorite Scooby-Doo movie, right next to the first Scooby-Doo movie was Scooby-Doo on Zombie Island as well, which I might cover Scooby-Doo on Zombie Island at this point, because I wanted to pick a movie like this as well to remember as well. My score for the movie, like Scooby-Doo on Zombie Island, Scooby-Doo and the Witch's Ghost, a 10 out of 10. And yes, this is by far the all-time favorite Scooby-Doo movie that I have ever enjoyed watching, because I loved the music as well. And how this movie makes it very good is you have to see your typical Scooby-Doo movie with the first appearance of the Hex Girls in that one, because this is all new for me, that's why. Because I just wanted to come by for a movie like Scooby-Doo and the Witch's Ghost, that's why. So that's going to be it for my movie review on Scooby-Doo and the Witch's Ghost. Thank you for watching, but before we go, here's what I'm going to say for this before I finish up the video. Well, this is my very first Scooby-Doo movie review, even though I haven't been done any movie reviews in a while, but this is the first time I wanted to cover a Scooby-Doo movie like Scooby-Doo and the Witch's Ghost for the very first time, which it does remind me, I might cover Scooby-Doo on Zombie Island, because that's another one I wanted to cover at this point as well. Click on the subscribe button. Be sure to subscribe to my channel, especially if you're new to my channel. Especially if I click on the subscribe button, smack the notifications bell button. Be sure to get notified also as well for more latest updates, just to keep you notified as well. And also be sure to smack the like button if you enjoy the video. Let me know your thoughts in the comments section below. Just let me know if you like as well. And what do you think of Scooby-Doo and the Witch's Ghost? And what do you think of the music of the Hex Girls in the movie Scooby-Doo and the Witch's Ghost? Just let me know if you like as well. Because your comments will be right in the comments section below. Just let me know if anything you want to, how you experience the movie like Scooby-Doo and the Witch's Ghost. Let me know if you like as well. And be sure to check out my Anime Planet or Analyst, because I've been getting in a Letterboxd. That's why. Wow, this is the first time I wanted to cover a Scooby-Doo movie for my brand new movie review, because this is all new for me, because we're long overdue for a brand new movie like Scooby-Doo and the Witch's Ghost. That's why. This is RuRoniK95 saying thank you for watching my video, and I'm glad you liked it. I hope you enjoy it. Hope to see you soon for the next video. Be sure to stay safe and stay healthy, and have a great day. This is RuRoniK95 signing off. Thank you for watching my video, and I will see you soon for more videos that I got on plan for what's in store. Take care. Ta-ta for now for this movie review.